Welcome back, dears. In the first part of this lesson, we came to know how Anne talks about being lonely and having no one to talk to, despite being surrounded by family and around 30 people whom she called her friends. Thus, she takes the decision of writing her feelings in a diary. It is usual for her to write in a diary, but she is really in need of a true friend. So, thus, she decides to name her diary Kitty, and unlike other people, she is not going to mention just facts in it. So, she started writing, and she starts with writing her background, and to make it easier to understand for anyone who reads it later. She describes her family and early childhood when they all migrated, her early schooling, and all. In this video, we can see after giving a brief account of her background, now she is coming to the present day. She comes to the present day where she tells us about the result of that day. Saturday, 20th June 1942. Dearest Kitty, our entire class is quacking in its boot. The reason, of course, is the forthcoming meeting in which the teachers decide who will move up to the next form and who will be kept back. Half the class is making bets. Gian and I laugh ourselves silly at the two boys behind us, Cian and Jacques, who have staked their entire holiday savings on their bet. From morning to night, it's "You're going to pass." "No, I'm not." "Yes, you are." "No, I'm not." Even G's pleading glances and my angry outbursts can't calm them down. If you ask me, there are so many dummies that about a quarter of the class should be kept back. But teachers are the most unpredictable creatures on earth. So, as I told you, here we can see how Anne is describing about the present day, what she experienced in that particular day. And on June 20th, 1942, and that was a good Saturday for her. And Anne begins writing in her diary, addressing it as her friend Kitty. So, diary is only called as Kitty, nobody else. The diary has been called as Kitty. She means how her entire class is nervous about their result. It is unpredictable and will be decided by a meeting of teachers in which they will select students to be moved to next class or kept back in the same class. Many students were making bets. Some had put in their entire summer savings at stake. For the bet, they have saved their entire summer savings. She and her friend G also made fun of the nervous boys. And they kept on saying to each other that I'm not gonna to pass, while others would console them and say, yes, you would. G was very polite as she tried to stop them from making noise while Anne scolded them, but none of it worked. And according to Anne, about a quarter of class should not be allowed to pass because they hardly respond or take part in any of the activities. And she refers to them as dummies. But this may not be the case because teachers' decisions can't be predicted. I'm not so worried about my girlfriends and myself. We will make it. The only subject I'm not sure about is maths. Anyway, all we can do is wait. Until then, we keep telling each other not to lose heart. Here Anne says that she is not bothered about her friends because she is sure that they will pass. The only subject that she is unsure is mathematics. And she seems to be having a tough time with the subject, but all they could do was wait for the results and not lose their hope. I get along pretty well with all my teachers. There are 9 of them, 7 men and 2 women. Mr. Kissing, the old Foji who teaches Max, was annoyed with me for ages because I talked so much. After several warnings, he assigned me extra homework, an essay on the subject, a chatterbox, a chatterbox. What can you write about that? I would worry about that later, I decided. I jotted down the title in my notebook, tucked it in my bag, and tried to keep quiet. Here, Anne tells how she has a great relationship with all her teachers except the Max teacher. He was constantly irritated by the author's talkativeness and was such a talkative girl. And despite several warnings, Anne did not stop talking in his classes, which prompted him to give her extra homework as punishment. The first one was to write an essay on chatterbox, which she thought was a weird topic to write on because what could one write about that? So, for that moment, she wrote the topic in a notebook, kept it in her bag, and focused on staying quiet. That evening, after I had finished the rest of my homework, the note about the essay caught my eye. I began thinking about the subject while chewing the tip of my fountain pen. Anyone could ramble on and leave big spaces between the words, but the trick was to come up with convincing arguments to prove the necessity of talking. I thought, and suddenly I had an idea. I wrote the 3 pages Mr. Kissing had assigned me and was satisfied. I argued that talking is a student's trait and that I would do my best to keep it under control, but that I would never be able to cure myself of the habit since my mother talked as much as I did, if not more, and that there is not much you can do about inherited traits. Here, Anne is making an essay for her teacher. Anne says, or Anne came across a note she made as reminder for the essay after she had finished the rest of her homework. And she began thinking about the topic. And what was she doing? She was just chewing the tip of her fountain pen because it is a gesture that signifies a person is in deep thinking. While anyone would mention random stuff written for the sake of filling pages, she wanted to present concrete arguments in support of talking. And she mentioned that she will try to better herself as a student, but talking is something that cannot be divided completely. This is because she got it as an inherited trait from her mother. And this is how she ended up writing 3 pages on the topic. Mr. Kessing had a good laugh at my arguments, but when I proceeded to talk my way through the second next lesson, he assigned me a second essay. This time it was supposed to be on an incorrigible chatterbox. I handed it in, and Mr. Kessing had nothing to complain about for 2 whole lessons. However, during the third lesson, he had finally had enough. Anne Frank, as punishment for talking in class, write an essay entitled Quack, 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 said Mistress Chatterbox. This is the very funny part of this lesson. Here, the professor, that is, Mr. Kessing, found Anne's arguments to be amusing, but she did not stop talking in the next lesson also. So again he gave her another assignment as punishment. And the topic was incorrigible chatterbox, means not able to be changed. And incorrigible refers to a bad habit that is difficult to change. He gave her this topic because he was annoyed of her unstoppable chattering during his lessons. And on receiving this assignment, the professor did not say anything to her for a while, but when he lost his patience, he handed another assignment as punishment on the topic, and the topic is quack, 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 said Mistress Chatterbox. The class roared. I had to laugh too, though I had nearly exhausted my ingenuity on the topic of chatterboxes. It was time to come up with something else, something original. My friend Sandy, who is good at poetry, offered to help me write the essay from beginning to end in verse, and I jumped for joy. Mr. Kissing was trying to play a joke on me with this ridiculous subject, but I would make sure the joke was on him. Here is the exact nature of Anne Frank. When the professor scolded her for the third time and punished her, the whole class started laughing at her. As a result, she had to pretend to be amused too. After writing twice on similar topics, she ran out of thoughts. Now she's not having anything else to pen down. Thus, her friend Sandy, who was good at poetry, told her that she would help her to write in rhyme, that she will help her to write in poetry. And this whole assignment scenario was to make Anne feel ashamed, but she made sure that she will give an effective reply. She was damn sure that it is not gonna to be any more fun on her, but rather it would be an answer. It would be an answer for her professor. I finished my poem and it was beautiful. It was about a mother duck and a father swan with three baby ducklings who were bitten to death by the father because they quacked too much. Luckily, Mr. Kessing took the joke the right way. He read the poem to the class, adding his own comments and to several other classes as well. Since then, I have been allowed to talk and haven't been assigned any extra homework. On the contrary, Mr. Kessing's always making jokes these days. So finally, she wrote her third assignment in the form of a poem, which turned out to be majestic, simply great. She wrote a satire that a father swan bit his three baby ducklings to death because of their noisy nature. And to her good luck, the professor took it in the right way, took it very lightly. He hasn't taken it seriously. The professor recited the entire poem in front of the class while giving his own remarks simultaneously. And being fortunate enough, talked uninterruptedly after this incident without any further homework as punishment. And also, Mr. Kessing, the maths professor, started cracking jokes every now and then in front of the class. So, this is all about Anne Frank's diary, whatever you are having in your class 10th. So, I hope you understood it, and I strongly suggest you to read this diary of Anne Frank, the complete one. Thank you for watching.